This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
Good day, everybody, and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Hoffman. Today is Friday, December the 16th, 2022. Just a few short days until we are celebrating Christmas. Hopefully, everybody's getting that shopping done here coming up this weekend. Coming up in today's show, I talk with Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig about the updates with high-path avian influenza. We also take a look at that ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the markets. It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net. We're at the end of another trading day and actually wrapping up this week, and we're turning to Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. Tyler, what did we see in those grain markets today?
A lot of low volume, low liquidity trading going on today. It's Friday before Christmas week, so a lot of traders are probably starting to take a little early Christmas vacation. So just not a lot of action. Corn basically unchanged on the day. Saw soybeans up slightly. Again, soybean meal with another strong day again. And so likely some of that, spread action where people are buying soybean meal, selling soybean oil, also buying soybeans, possibly even selling some wheat against those soybeans. Wheat depends on what class you're in. Chicago wheat virtually unchanged on the day. Kansas City wheat took it the hardest of any of them. They were down 13 cents in the March contract, and Minneapolis just kind of split the difference.
Now, when we talk about the fact that there's going to be lower trading volume, probably easing into Christmas week, does that raise the possibility for more volatility? If there are things that happen with less trading, then it's going to swing it even more one way or the other.
Yes, if there's some type of fundamental news that really pushes this market one direction or the other, that's where you'll see the volatility. So, we're going to want to keep an eye on the story out of Russia, Ukraine. We're going to want to keep an eye on the Argentine weather and the Brazilian weather, because those will have the ability to move the market with such low volume, and that can move it either direction. But if there really aren't any headlines, any fundamental news that really drive this thing, I would expect to just kind of see trade like today, just kind of back and forth, not a lot of movement and not a lot of price action going on.
Should producers be thinking about how they could take advantage of something? Let's just say something would swing that market really high and maybe they have a floor in, but it ends up going beyond that. What kind of things can they do to take advantage of a better market if something were to happen, or protect themselves, vice versa on a bad market?
One of the things that I will I'll answer your question next, but I'm going to take a chance. One of the things that you'll notice when we have these low volume trades, the volatility in the option market is really, really low. Option prices are really cheap. So on anything you've got that you're worried about and you want to establish some type of a price floor, now is a really good time to step in there and buy some put options. Corn and soybeans especially have got very low volatility. Options are really cheap right at the moment. To your question, have orders working, whether that's to make some sales. Maybe you've already got options on, maybe you've got some puts. Have some orders working to roll those up in case we get some of that volatility coming in. We see a big price spike. Maybe we see corn up 20, 30 cents over the next, sometime throughout the next week. Have the order working so that it gets filled without you having to watch the market all the time. This is a really good time to get those orders working. And yeah, with low volume trade, sometimes that volatility will spike and and just as fast as it can go up and hit those targets, it can come back down. So if you don't have the target working, a lot of times you get the coulda, shoulda, woulda response afterwards.
All right, so moving over to the livestock side of things, we've seen some up days, we've seen some down days this week. What are we looking at today?
Hogs were the big winner today. Your February hogs were up about $4 a hundredweight. There really wasn't anything in the news fundamentally that says they should have been up $4. Remember, hogs, very technically traded market. we had pushed down to below kind of the some of the levels that a lot of technical traders were looking at to trigger a buying spree. And so probably saw some new entrants coming in and buying, probably saw a lot of guys buying back their short positions. So, just December 5th, which would have been just 10 trading days ago, we hit $92 on the February hog contract. And yesterday we closed at just slightly under 82. So a $10 break in hogs from high to low over a 10-day period. So, just some buying come back into that market, pushed it back up kind of the middle of the range, probably where it should be. So, hogs definitely seeing some positivity there. Fat cattle, a lot of people remain bullish that fat cattle story, that we're finally starting to see that tightening supply take shape. The cash numbers I saw today were again improved. Leading the way was in the South, kind of seeing some 155 and 156 numbers, which we haven't seen for quite a while. So that sparked some buying in that fat cattle contract. And the feeders, again, just kind of also another technically traded market. And so they're struggling, pushing through the highs where they're at right now. Wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a pullback on feeders over the next week, but I don't think it's anything to worry about.
All right. Well, Tyler, if people out there want to talk some of those market strategies you mentioned today, or find out what kind of things they can do to protect themselves in this market, how do they get in touch with agmarket.net?
Easiest thing is to go to our website, agmarket.net. There's a contact page. You can find all the brokers listed right there. Check out our Ag Intel. We publish a ton of information. You can have it sent right to your email inbox every day. And also check out our conference. We're going to be holding the first weekend in February, or first Sunday and Monday in February, down in Nashville.
All right, Tyler. Well, we thank you so much for the insight. We'll talk to you again real soon.
You bet. Have a good weekend, guys.
That again was Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. Let's go ahead and run down the closing numbers, courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. March corn is down a half at 6.53 even. May down a quarter at 6.53 and a half. December 23 new crop down a half at 5.97 and a half. January beans up 6 and a half at 14.80 even. March soybeans up 7 at 14.83 and 3/4. November 23 new crop up a penny at 13.89 and a quarter. Soy meal was up $7.60 at 4.6020. Soy oil down 52 cents at 62.46. Chicago wheat down a nickel at 7.61 even. Minneapolis wheat down 8 and a half at 9.05 and a half. Kansas wheat down 14 3/4 at 8.38 even. Oats down 1 3/4 at 3.38 and a quarter. February live cattle up 92 cents at 155.77. January feeders up 72 cents at 183.77. February lean hogs $4.12 higher, 85.77. Pork cutouts down 48 cents at 87.22. Class 3 milk down 4 cents at 20.50. And that's been a check of our ag market recap. We're going to take a short break and hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, I talk with Iowa Agriculture Secretary Mike Naig about the latest with the bird flu. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to AMPM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. It wasn't just once, but twice this year that we've had to deal with the bird flu going through Iowa, and it seems to be a little worse this time around. I talked with Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig about the latest that's going on and we're seeing around the state. Well, it's time once again for our monthly chat with Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig. And Secretary, December, another year gone by already. It's just flown through, hasn't it, for 2022?
Oh my goodness, it really has. Of course, this is a really, it's that time of year where you're doing that look back. You're trying to look ahead at the year. Of course, there's always optimism when you're looking at the new year, but my goodness, we've been through a few things in the last 12 months from an ag perspective. Ukraine was not on the radar last year at this time. Supply chain disruptions all throughout the year. High path avian influenza, unfortunately. Now we've now surpassed 2015. It's now the largest foreign animal disease outbreak in U.S. history. And then how many times did we say supply chain disruption? in 2022. So those are certainly some of the things that are on my mind as we're wrapping up the year.
Yeah, and let's start with the HPAI. You know, as much as the drought was devastating, I think this was still the big story of the year. Now, as we said, the U.S. has surpassed 2015. How about here in Iowa? I mean, I've seen we've seen the reports from IDALs there with the finding more cases here in the last couple of days and weeks. I mean, what are we at here in the state as compared to 2015?
Yeah, we're at 24. We're at 30. We're at 30 now in the state of Iowa. 24 commercial sites, and that's still look from an Iowa perspective. Remember, in 15 we had 77 sites. We had 30 million birds that were impacted. Even as bad as this year has been, and it is stressful, and we are seeing a reoccurrence here in the fall. It is nothing like 2015. That's a testament to our producers and the biosecurity and the things that they've learned. It's also, I think, a reaction to or a response to the fact that we're doing a better job as the state of Iowa and as USDA in defining, containing, and really disposing of the virus. So that's actually a good news story in this. Hard to be thinking about the good news side of this when you're still in the middle of it, frankly. But we had taken about a 6-month break between the last positive case in the spring was in May. It was 6 months later when we started to see the fall reoccurrence. And that was different than 2015, but we had been watching that throughout the northern United States all summer, that they continued to have cases. These wild birds are still carrying that virus. And as they turned around and headed south during the migration, they're once again carrying that virus with them. And it's going to end at some point. They're going to move through. But it does have me concerned once again about what happens in the spring. They do not seem to be able to shed this virus. They're continuing to spread it. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, and I know talking to some producers, they're looking forward to winter. Hopefully, winter seems to freeze out if we have a normal winter, some of these viruses. But again, if they're bringing it right back from a warm climate, we're going to have to be on our toes again come the spring. And is this something that we, think or are afraid that might just be a yearly thing? Or is it just something that once we shake this, we hopefully will be good again for a little while?
That is very much on our minds, right? And producers' minds is, you used to think that, well, okay, we can accept that high path maybe happens in the spring of the year. By the time we get to summer, we're done with it. That certainly played out in 2015. The temperatures warmed up. This is different. They're carrying it back. I think over time, those wild birds will shed this virus ultimately. But it has had the effect of now we have to acknowledge that there's a threat year round and that you really can never take your foot off the pedal when it comes to biosecurity. We have to figure out how to respond in cold, freezing temperatures where we historically had not thought about those things. We always assumed that we'd be dealing with spring and summer conditions, and those are complications in terms of a response. And that's just the reality now, as folks have had to accept that we're going to have to be vigilant all the time. I certainly hope that this is not an annual event. We really, that's devastating from a financial standpoint, and certainly consumers ultimately pay for that as well. But it is incredibly stressful for the producers, both folks that have positive cases, but also imagine every poultry producer is getting up every morning, going out and doing chore and wondering if today's the day that they'll be dealing with it. That's incredibly hard on our families.
That again was Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig. Let's go ahead and run down that ag weather outlook. Well, we had a few light flurries to start the day and cloudy skies as we saw snow getting moved off the roads here in Des Moines. Now, heard further to the north and west, they saw a little bit more precipitation and some school delays. Of course, check local listings to see how you fared through the winter weather outbreak. Of course, what does it look like for the next 24 hours? Well, let's find out from the National Weather Service. Well, we woke up to scattered flurries and some accumulated snow here in Des Moines this morning. Of course, check local listings as to how much you received. And it was windy and colder here, but we're going to see highs again today in the 20s. Now, tonight it's going to get cold, especially in the northwest. They're going to see mostly cloudy skies, though, across the state. Some lingering flurries. Those are going to be more to the east of I-35 and low anywhere from 8 up to the low 20s. Now, tomorrow, variably cloudy skies, still colder in the northwest, where we'll see highs anywhere from the mid-teens to about the upper 20s. Looking at the affiliate weather map for tomorrow, partly sunny and 15 in Cherokee. Shenandoah, partly cloudy and 25. Des Moines will be cloudy and 23. Waterloo will also be cloudy and 23 degrees. Albia will be partly sunny and 25. Clinton will be mostly cloudy with some lingering flurries and 27 degrees. For more detailed forecasts in your area, tune to your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been your Ag Weather Outlook. And with that, we're at the end of today's show. You can find all our content online at iowaagnet.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, and on our YouTube channel. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're always notified when we put out a new video product. You can also subscribe to our free Twice Daily Market podcast through Google, Amazon, Apple, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Huffman. For Riley Smith and Mark Magnuson, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.